Welcome back to part 2 of this series. We'll be finishing the kitchen island in this video. Let's get right into it. I believe we need to attach the legs.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
How are we picking it up?
Straight up.
Like this?
Just get one of your legs on first. Just get it started. All right. Yes, it ended up working better on the floor to drive those legs home. With our main assembly together, I think it's time to build the drawers. Here we're building the skirts that will hold the drawer slides and the drawer fronts that surround the island, using the same clear alder wood and pocket holes for attachment. Assembly time for the skirts. As these are being completely hidden, you'll never really see them. A couple of basic white lacquer coats is all they really needed. So let's make sure they're square flush and drive them home. I'm using the square here to make sure things are flush because this inside is where it's going to hold the drawer slides. So it has to be a nice smooth surface for them to slide smoothly. I will get the skirts in the outside of the legs. That's for the drawer fronts to attach to. But now I'm turning attention to the center. That red line is where the center divider for the two drawers and the drawer slides go on each side of that divider. I'm not exactly sure if I recorded that or not, but it is there. With the shenanigans out of the way, let's get to work on the functional drawers. I'm using the same alder for the fronts, basic style and rail construction, a 1/4 inch center panel. Height of those fronts match the rest of the kitchen. 2 full depth drawers with the fronts overhanging the legs, and everything attaches skirt and legs for support. These drawer fronts are the basic 5-piece construction. They require some rabbets to hold everything and some mortise and tenon joints to make everything super strong. And there's an overview of the drawers. You can see I've got the table saw set up with a stop so I can have an accurate length for, I believe this is the stiles that I'm cutting right now. But the stop stops short, so the cut-off piece does not bind. Safety is always important when dealing with table saws. Here I'm using an offcut of that nice wide alder board. These are the rails. So there's a number of details that go with these. One of the interesting bits is that they have a bit of a chamfer leading down into the 1/4 inch center panel. So we want to make sure that is going to be applied as well. Now it's time to set up our friend the router table, and with dado bit I'm putting in the dado for those stiles and rails. Always go a bit slow first when I'm making sure that the depth and everything is correct. That's what this setup is for. Do a test cut and measure it accurately. Make sure it's doing what it's supposed to do. It looks right. Let's see. Okay, depth looks okay. And how about the width? And a few more thousandths. Okay, we're really close though. We're getting close. Math does not lie, but maybe you're not always happy with what it has to tell you. You keep plugging away. Using a 1/2 inch or 12.7 millimeter dado bit to cut those dados in always creates a shocking amount of sawdust. So now I'm using another stop idea and putting in the mortise. These are for the rails. The horizontal rails here have a chamfer that runs the full length. We can apply that with a table saw. The vertical stiles need the chamfer to stop in line with the detail on these rails, but I have a plan to achieve that detail. Cutting a 45-degree angle like this is always going to demand your full attention. I sometimes make dry runs just to make sure that there is no guesswork where my hands are going. Now we're going to have some fun. I am setting up the mill here to apply what I'm calling the stop chamfer for the stiles. This puts in that chamfer, but it stops short of each end. You'll see more detail here in just a smidge. Yeah. Oops. That's within chisel range. Several coats of lacquer paint, sanding in between with consecutively increasing grits. Ended up with 320 grit before the final coat. Getting started on the drawer boxes themselves. This is a good old 1/2 inch or 12.7 millimeter Baltic birch. These usually come in 48 by 60 inch squares, and I don't know what the metric version of that is. With the boxes themselves cut to size, we get to apply the tongue and groove on the ends. Just make sure you're doing it to the right spots. So I do 1/4 inch, which is 6.35 millimeters on the ends, as well as along the bottom here. That's what's going to hold the drawer bottom itself. All right, so I'm back in the shop after an overnight break. I managed to cut all these pieces wrong. These are the front and back of the drawer slides, of the drawers themselves. And I made these these are supposed to be the tongue side, but I made a nice little slot on them. So once I realized what I had done, it's frustrating. It sucks because you put energy and time and of course money to put these projects together, and it sucks when you realize you're not perfect. And that's a pretty humbling thing. So I made little tiny strips to cut fit the groove of the table saw that I did, and glued these in last night and just walked away and left it and had some time to think about it. It was really about that it was bumming me out. I don't know why it was bumming me out so much, but for whatever reason it did. And I have been doing this long enough that I realized that I can't work around power tools, table saws and whatnot with being distracted like that. And it sucks because it's also a lost day or so of work, but regardless, it was the best thing for me to do. So take a break, do something else, regroup, and now I'm back at it. So from here, I'm going to employ the planing feature of the table saw, get these guys shaved down, and then make these into the tongue end. So that's what we're going to do now. Final assembly of the drawer boxes. Nice. Dots of glue in that bottom groove to keep the drawer bottom aligned. Some like to use the little 1/4 inch rubber spacers. They work fine as well. 4 1/4. Ooh, that's perfect. I bought these things years ago. I barely use these things. They do work well. That's hardly ever use them. All right, a couple of clamps. We're good to go. Here I'm applying some of the same UV Cure sealer. In this case, it's a little bit of a shiny one. That's totally fine for drawer fronts. Makes them easier to clean. All right, this was a bit much. Yikes. Yikes. Let's finish off the inside of the drawers and get back to the drawer fronts themselves. We're still need to refine how the chamfers meet in the corners. Lacquer coat after lacquer coat. You have to accept that it takes as many coats as it needs, no more, no less. What? No, I'm not wearing pajama pants. That would be silly. Hey, if you've not crafted in jammies, are you really even a creator? With all the assemblies in place, we are ready for the final touches on the drawers. Handles will be centered on the drawer front. That's what you see. You only get the magic of the offset drawer when you open it up. I should show you this. Look how clean those holes are. That's what the step bit does. Obviously it's clean on the inside because, I had a backer board, but still, it is nice. Hello there. We have a new kitchen island. Let's take a closer look, shall we? So the island, I feel, turned out pretty darn good. It has details along the drawer fronts that match the existing kitchen. I've got added drawers that go full depth, and you can see the offset where that is. So I'll take you in a little bit closer look on how the drawers turned out. These drawers are the 1/2-inch birch. They were finished with the same UV clear finish. I think it was more of a glossy finish in this. You can see where there's a little bit of a skunk stripe where I did make that repair on both the front and the back, but only ended up being on one side. As far as overall aesthetics, I don't think it's going to be too egregious. So we'll continue on. You can see I have skirts on the inside and outside of the legs to hold the false fronts, as well as to hold the drawer slides. These are full depth soft close slides actually. So one of the cool details I added into here is the casters. Of course, they can spin, but they have a lever on there that raises and lowers the assembly onto a pad. So if you want it solid and not rolly, you lever this down, the foot comes down, and it will be a solid surface. So now that we have an island ready to go, let's tackle the next project, which is the sink counter. Honestly, that scares me more than doing this fellow. So let's tackle that next. But for now, we get to enjoy the new island and its usability. Thanks so much. Hello there.